Good afternoon, Sanna Ekström. You are the co-founder of Mindpark. Mindpark is located in Malmö, in the south of Sweden. Mindpark has 4 locations. You have been among the pioneers of the coworking industry in Europe and in the Scandinavian country. The purpose of the discussion today was to tell about Mindpark new developments. So you signed up with a big real estate owner in Gothenburg, while the building is not even existing, and it's pretty new also in this industry that we see also promoter and construction company to partnering up already years before having a building in place in order to operate it, or partly. But the purpose of the discussion was also to discuss also about Mindpark as a whole, how you see the market evolving in Sweden, and see how you address hopefully the hand of the COVID crisis also from your perspective. And we see that you are signing up also with your new kind of customers from abroad, and that will be the agenda for today. But first of all, Sanna, can you just introduce yourself and Mindpark?
Of course. Thanks for having me. My name is Sanna, and I'm one of the co-founders of Mindpark. And today I mainly focus on expansion and developments of new Mindparks. And we started off in 2008, but then we started off as a café. So we've added different functions along the way, starting in renting out desks, offices, meeting rooms, creating events, and so on. And at that time, coworking was not the hype that it is today. So we needed to explain to everyone the benefits of sharing space, facilities, working together, and so on. But slowly the community grew, and we expanded with more square meters. And our first location was in Helsingor. So it's a mid-sized for Sweden city in the southern parts of Sweden, close to Malmö.
So you are, sorry, you have 4 locations now, and
we have 4 locations. Coming? We started in Helsingor, and then we have 2 in Malmö and 1 in Lund.
Okay, so all in the southern part of Sweden. So is your location. So it's when we visit your website, we see that it's trendy, it's fun, it's colorful. So it's you mainly focused on the startup and entrepreneurs. In the beginning, at least, is it still the case? Is it how do you, or has it evolved, or does it have evolved since you started off years ago now?
I would say back in the days, like in the beginning 2010 or something like that, we had a lot of freelancers, and then came the smaller companies and the teams and the startups, and now it's also like larger corporation having moving in a department to Mindpark, or also like companies abroad who want an office in Scandinavia or in Sweden, or a company in Stockholm wanting a regional office in the southern parts of Sweden. So from freelancers to departments and like innovation department and larger companies as well. We also rented a whole floor now for a larger tech company who wanted to be a part of our community and have all the services that we can provide, but still have their own floor and their own office space.
Okay, so
that is new for us.
Okay, so something important for those who don't necessarily see Malmö, it's just close to Copenhagen. So it's this idea of the greater Copenhagen that has been developed lately, thanks also to this huge bridge that is now there, and it's a beautiful bridge. And you were saying at the beginning, or at least some years ago, you were also betting on that to tell about Mindpark as being part of this greater Copenhagen, but it has been a little bit challenging. You told me why so, and what about the strategy? Because obviously you are concentrating on a very clear regional area of the Scandics. What can you tell us about that and the strategy there?
I lived in Stockholm for a couple of years ago, and then you think like, okay, when Stockholm is the capital of Sweden, who can question that? And then when you move to the southern parts of Sweden, you realize that Stockholm is really far away and Copenhagen is really close. And the mentality among the people here and in Copenhagen, they're a bit more alike than Malmö versus Stockholm. So for us here in the southern parts, it's really natural to see Copenhagen as our capital, and we like Copenhagen and the Danish people. So and there is also a greater Copenhagen network. There is a plan for the southern parts of Sweden and Copenhagen to collaborate. It's been really hard for the last 18 months, almost 2 years with COVID, because it's been then it was really obvious that it is two countries and it is close border between.
So the bridge was closed, I guess. You couldn't go through.
The bridge was closed, yes, exactly. So it's been hard, and I think that also this is a process. It will evolve for many years, but But a lot of people commute between the cities in Sweden and in the northern parts of Denmark.
So what about the co-working demand and market in this part of your both countries? How does it integrate? Have you seen a big evolution? We speak more and more about segmentation. We just spoke about freelancer and the startup in the beginning, now evolving to accommodate bigger tenants. How do you see that? And as you have been witnessing the evolution for the last 10 years, what's your take on it? What are your main takeaways?
Copenhagen and mainly Copenhagen in Denmark has always been a couple of years ahead of Sweden. So me and Karsten, the other co-founder of Mindpark, we went to inspirational trips to Copenhagen and to Berlin and so on, to visiting the spaces and learn about co-working and building communities. And so when we started Mindpark, so there've always been a couple of years ahead of us. But I think that there are more and more co-working operators in Sweden now than several years ago. So I think that slowly we will evolve to Copenhagen and the great community that they have there today. But they're really good at communities and co-working and so on. So I think we still have a lot to learn there.
So as you mentioned that there are more and more operators. So how do you address the rise of the competition? What's your take? Because you have been growing as well. So you are a competitor for those other players as well, most likely. So what's your take on it? How did it make you change maybe also the kind of positioning or communication you had, or the kind of services you are providing?
There are more operators today, but the market is also bigger. And I think it's good with competition, and I think it's good that different co-working operators are a bit niche, that they different not one co-working space suits all. There are different needs, what you want in a co-working space. So I think that's why it's good that there are several operators, and we've worked together with several of them, and we know it's a small network in Sweden, so you kind of know each other and you talk a bit and you learn from each other and so on. So but I think we will see more co-working operators merge in the future. And that the market will mature in Scandinavia and at least in Sweden. You
believe in consolidations. We just issued a report about it, so we believe in that.
Okay, interesting. I want to read it later. But yeah, I think so. I think that's what happens to all markets, and also maybe we'll see some more niched when co-working is. When everyone realizes in like landlords and property developers that this will be necessary in all new projects, all new buildings, that it's not a hype. We need the flexibility, and we want the service in our buildings. We want the vibrant spaces. Then I think also more will go niched. So for e-commerce or food tech, and you will have this building who focuses on food tech and with flexible office space and service and so on. So
is that what you do now? You start to spot some areas when you want to become, the visible players or partner, or is it still too early, or maybe the market is maybe too small to go further in that direction for the moment? How do you see that?
Well, maybe we also, besides Mindpark, we also have a co-working space called e-commerce park. So we have a niche space as well. So it's like a sister for our Mindparks. Mindpark is open for everyone, all companies, but my e-commerce park is mostly for the e-commerce community. So we have tried that, and that works really good here in Helsingor, because Helsingor, they're good at e-commerce here, but you have to have that critical mass of companies working in that industry. So I think that will grow if larger companies also like cluster together in different cities.
And so because Helsingor, if I'm wrong, is smaller than Malmö, so
yeah.
Still you choose to do it in Helsingor instead of Malmö, but it's concerned, no, or not.
Both me and Karsten lived here.
Yeah.
In 2008, and when we started, we had the café here, so that's why it was just natural for us to start here. And I think it was quite healthy for us to build a co-working space and a community and so on in a smaller city, because now we can do Mölndal, and I think many other co-working operators, they look at Stockholm, Malmö, Gothenburg, Copenhagen, Oslo, like the larger.
Yeah.
And we know that we can also do it. I saw you talk to, what is it, DoSpace a couple of weeks ago? Yeah. And they do it in Linköping and Jönköping and so on, in smaller cities and I think that you need co-working spaces also in the smaller cities, but you need to calculate and think about the space in a different way than if you operate something in Malmö or in Stockholm. It has to be smaller, and also maybe it's more important, like with the smaller communities, that it's really like friendly and easy for everyone to join in.
So you speak about this Mölndal project that is really recent. So as we said, the building doesn't exist. It's further north for you because it's in Gothenburg. So the two questions. Number one, when you look for co-working in Malmö or southern Sweden, Mindpark is number one. We can't miss you. You are everywhere there on the internet. We know that you are the local champion. How do you see you going in another area, maybe where there are other players that are as big as you are, or as visible as you are in this other part of the country? And the second questions, yes, did the guys from the property company came to you, or do you actively prospect for dealing with players like that?
I am well, we now have like 4 spaces here in the southern parts of Sweden, so we want to evolve along the west coast to Gothenburg, because we think Gothenburg is a really nice and friendly city with relaxed people, and exactly like in Malmö, and we like that, so we want to go there. And a lot of people work and commute between the cities, Malmö, Lund, Helsingborg, Halmstad, Gothenburg, and so on, so it's really natural for us to grow that way. And when we looked at the market in Gothenburg, we also saw that there are some larger players, and there are some smaller independent co-working spaces, when you have like 1 or 2 smaller spaces. But I think that we fit in somewhere in the middle between that, and I think that's missing in the market today. So hopefully that will be a good match. And also we call ourselves a co-working operator because it's easy for people to understand what we do, but we do a lot more than that. We operate our own restaurants and cafes, meeting rooms, event areas. We're the reception for the whole house, also for the other companies in the same building. So we're often like, they call us the heart when we talk to property developers and landlords, the heart of the building, so that you walk into this vibrant place instead of just a building with the door. And I've worked the last couple of years since 2017 we had one Mindpark, now the market is mature enough, now we want to open some more. So I've been doing this for the last couple of years, and in that I've been in contact with a lot of property developers and landlords in Sweden, so I have quite a good network. So I talk to them, and then they contact me when they have something interesting and a case. And here with NCC Property Development, who's the property developer for this project, Mimo in Mölndal, they wanted someone who could like take care of their first floor. They wanted a reception to welcome all the visitors for all the companies in the house. They wanted a gym, they wanted a restaurant, they wanted meeting rooms and so on. And we can provide everything. In this case, we won't provide the gym. There will be another operator for that. But for the rest, so we will like really take care of the house and also offer service to all of the other companies in the house, catering, breakfasts, and so on. And I think that's also a bit unique and separates us from other co-working operators. And that's because we started off as a café. We love service and bringing people together.
Yeah.
And we can do that in a co-working space or in an event area or in a restaurant. But for us, our heart is a bit bigger than just co-working. So we love the service parts as well. And I think that fits very good with what property developers and landlords face today. And because it's kind of critical to have in every new building today. And then they have to discuss with both some restaurant operator, they have to discuss with someone for the reception and someone for co-working and so on. And maybe both, it's of course easier for them to just go to one, but also we can sit down together and say, okay, like we did with Mölndal, this building is located here. What are in the surroundings? Okay, but we lack a restaurant. Okay, then we will do that. Or maybe there are a lot of restaurants, then we will just operate an espresso bar and the reception. So we can, together with the landlord, form what we think will be best for this house. And of course that profits both our business and theirs. So we can go out and market the project together.
Is it more like a kind of service agreement you have with them, or you become not co-owner of the building, but associated with, there is this model of joint ventures that some players are putting in place. Some others like more management fees and things like that. What kind of partnership you are putting in place for that?
We have a rental agreement for the floors that we're renting, and then we also have a service agreement if they want us to provide service. But then we also have service agreements or additional service for the other companies that we have together with that company. So if the company on the 6th floor, they want breakfast every Friday, then that's the agreement between us.
So to what extent do you see yourself, because the border with facility management is blurring, that you are taking care of the all work environments rather than just, yes, of course there is the flexibility management, which is an important part, but that benefits everybody in the building or in the surrounding. Where do you see Mindpark going from that perspective? Is it you are becoming that kind of work environment operator, or how would you describe that evolution, or what you are going to be in the future?
I don't know. And I think that's the fun part of it. I mean, we started out as a cafe. We sold coffee to students, me and Karsten, for like 7 Swedish kronor per cup of coffee. And now we have almost 5 co-working spaces that do like events. We go travel together with our co-workers, and we host and we operate restaurants and so on. So I don't know really what the future holds, but we see that landlords, they need this, and we can provide it, and we think it's fun with service, and also for our co-workers to come down to our restaurant. They come to us to the restaurant to have their cup of coffee. It's really good for the community. And then we host the events together with the whole house, because often you have a lot of other fun companies sitting on the other floors. And if we can do events together, then that's really good for everyone in the house, so that they can meet, and then the community, we extend our community. in the house.
It's still more and more layer of complexities that you are handling now, because you need different skills. You said that you were running cafe. Now you are like a real estate expert. That is needs. I get, you need to deal with lawyers and new kind of and deposits and all those stuff. That's more and more complexity there. So how do you address this scaling up of your activity and the complexity also, because that's a big stuff. So it's not everyone can do it nowadays for that kind of stuff.
I think that's mainly why both me and Karsten still think this is fun every day, and because we learn something new every day, and and of course, I mean, we don't know everything, so we need to taking people in the company that have these skills. But also, I think it's the Pippi Långstrump, the Swedish Astrid Lindgren.
Yeah.
She said, "I've never tried this before, so I think it's easy," or something like that. And we kind of have that mindset. I mean, you need to try, and often you learn something, and often you succeed, and sometimes you don't. But we've tried and errored a bit during the years, and no, but we like this to do a bit of all. But still, co-working is where we get most of our revenue from. Okay. That's like the big chunk still. The other are still services, but it makes the co-working space more fun, because there's so much going on.
And the emotional part is there, and the relationships, and it's more than just a facility. There is soul and hospitality, and get it.
It's more like in a hotel, you also have all the different skill. You have a small gym, you have a pool, you have the spa, you have the, so maybe we're more like a hotel operator than a co-working operator.
That's everything. That's everything we see now. The moving that co-working industry is walking on the in the shoes of the hotel industry more and more, and that there is a lot of similarities, even the branding, because that was maybe my last questions. How important is the Mindpark brand for what you do? Because this company, this landlord that you partner with, was the Mindpark brand important for them, or was the skills that you had, and you could demonstrate that you could run this full fledged of service, and that was good for them to bring you in? So as simple as that. How important is this identity that you have?
I think it's a bit of both. I think that they know that we have had the brand for several years. We have done this. So I think it's a bit of both. But they tell us to use the Mindpark brand, and it's also in our agreements that we can't use another name, or at least we need to discuss it with them before changing the name. So I think it's quite important, because we've established the brand in the southern parts of Sweden, and here it's quite well known. And they know that we know what we're doing, because we've been doing this for many years successfully. So.
Okay, we are arriving at the end of our discussion. Maybe always the situation now regarding the recovery post-COVID, and are people coming back, or do you address it? Do you have to take some specific measers during that period? We know that in Sweden it has been handled a little bit differently than some other European countries. So.
We've still had all our spaces have been open, and then our coworkers have chosen if they wanted to come to their office or not. We don't have that many open space desk areas. We mostly have like smaller offices, so they're still quite by themselves if they come into the office. But it's for our restaurants and meeting rooms, it's been, of course, really tough. No one has had a meeting for a year. But we see now how we start to get bookings for this fall. And so hopefully this autumn will be a lot better than last.
Yeah. We hope We all hope that indeed that is really the end and the real end this time, and there is no waves waiting for us ahead. And thank you so much, Sanna, for the great conversation and sharing with us some of the steps Mindpark has been through. And it sounds like it's just the beginning of a new chapter that you are opening up. And hopefully we see you in Vienna for the Coworking Europe conference that is back as well. And and yes, take care. All the best with your new project that are coming up, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.